All right, now we're finally going to get to the goal setting portion. What you've done so far is we've done a couple of exercises for you to really connect to your desire, feel the desire, fantasize about your ultimate future, look at a role model and maybe extract some feelings that you feel when you look at that person so that you can identify and articulate the things that you want the most. And then yesterday, we looked at your desires. You picked the one that just calls to you the most, that gives you the most energy, makes you feel the most passionate. And then we anchored that in with an experience that you can play over and over in your head, something that you can see, feel, hear, touch, taste, using all of your senses. Now you have that desire. What we're going to do next is we're going to start converting that into a goal so that desire can have even more precision and energy. And if you remember, we said in the original video, we said that the energetic power of a goal is equal to its connection to a desire and your certainty that you can actually achieve it. So what we want to do is look at the goal that look at the desire that you identified, the thing that makes you just feel the most, that image, that experience that you have. And I want you to look at that experience. And what we're going to do to create this goal is we're going to use your powers of logic. We're going to use your powers of logic to break this down and ask ourselves, what are the components that are required in order to make this desire a reality, the specific components that make this a desire a reality. And we're going to do it in a logical way, almost like math. Like this should be like a math formula. Like I know for a fact, if I do A and B and C, I know for a fact that this desire will be a reality. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to know exactly how to do A and B and C. It might be, so let's say I want to make $1 million, right? Maybe my goal is I want to make $1 million. As the component parts of making that $1 million, like what is required for me to make $1 million? Well, let's say if I have a product that I can sell for $1,000, and if I can get 1,000 people to want to buy it, then I can make $1 million, right? So then it's just a question of component one, how can I make a product worth $1,000? And then component two, how can I sell it to 1,000 people, right? So what you've just done is you've taken this desire of making $1 million or whatever it is, you've broken it out logically into two just rational pieces of if I could just sell something for $1,000 and if I could sell it to 1,000 people, then I could have this desire. And the purpose of breaking it down logically like this is making $1 million sounds like a pretty intimidating goal if you've never done it before. But making a product that I could sell for $1,000, that's a little bit more realistic, isn't it? We've broken it down into component part. We've separated it. So now it's something that we can focus on that's a little bit smaller. It feels a little bit more achievable, doesn't it? When we break our desire down into components, we know it's still connected to our desire, obviously. So we have that first component of the energetic power of your goal. We know it's going to move you towards something that you desire. If I can make a product that's worth $1,000, I know for a fact that's going to move me toward making $1 million. If I can sell it to 1,000 people, I know for a fact it's going to move me toward that desire. So we're achieving that component of it being connected to your desire, but it's also a little bit more achievable. It's a little bit more achievable. So I want you to think about what are the component parts of your goal. If it's $1 million, maybe I need to have a product that's worth $1,000 and then I need to sell it to 1,000 people. And I know with mathematical certainty that that is going to work. Or let's say that I want to create an event and I want it to just be really transformative. I really want it to help people's lives. So what I need to do is I need people in the room and I need a program to take them through that's going to give them the kind of experience I want to offer them, right? It's like very simple. It's just using the powers of logic to break my desire down into these component parts. And what I want you to do today is just do that one layer. And at this layer, like these component parts, it's okay if you don't know exactly how to achieve those things yet. Like I don't have to know exactly how to make a $1,000 product just to say I need a $1,000 product if I'm going to make $1 million. I don't need to know how I'm going to sell it to 1,000 people just to say I must sell it to 1,000 people if I want to make $1 million, right? You don't need to know how to create the components just to identify the components. So what I want you to do right now is take your desire, that thing that you want the most, and break it out into components. And if you're being simple enough, this should not be more than 2 or 3 components for your desire. It should be something that's very simple. You should be able to break it down into something that's very simple, very rational, very logical, with mathematical certainty that if I do A and B, or if I do A and B and C, I know for sure, with absolute certainty, that I'll be able to achieve this desire. So go ahead and spend a little bit of time doing that exercise. See if you can break out those component parts and identify what they are. And as you do that, see if it gives you a little bit more clarity. See if it feels a little bit more achievable, and see if it still feels connected to your desire. I think you're gonna find that it is. So thanks for joining me in this exercise, and I'll see you in the next one.